Hello, welcome to the Citrus Garden. If you're new here, my name is Christina. If you're not new here, hi, welcome back. It's great to see you. This is an overall general reading for Pisces season. So I am going to go through each of the signs. You'll find the timestamps in the description box below. But just as an overall theme, I was getting sort of like a theme of manifesting dreams. So for Pisces season, because it is sort of the end of the zodiac wheel, it is talking about letting go of something. But with Pisces, it's also kind of bringing in sort of like, it is coming through with kind of like a balancing energy. So letting go of things in order to start fresh, that kind of thing. Especially in regards to manifesting dreams. So if there is some sort of thing that you're trying to manifest, like, is there some things that you need to let go to start fresh, or like that, it's that kind of vibe. So that's the overall theme for this reading. Again, I'm going to go through each of the signs and you'll find the timestamps in the description box below. Hi Gemini, welcome to your reading. So let's get started here with the overall context. So you have here the nest, which says an emotionally secure, loving family is important to you. You have your unity at the bottom of the fairy deck, and the 10 of embers, the 10 of wands. So I feel like there's something here about like feeling safe is actually kind of coming through here, or like feeling protected, or it's also coming through as being like something returning to you. There's a lot of that energy in this reading today. It kind of feels like as well, like, I feel like Gemini, this is something that you've been working on for a while, or it's like, if it's not something that you've been working on, it's a situation that I feel like has been very frustrating, or that has been, like something that you've been dealing with for a long time. It's just kind of how it's coming through here with the 10 of embers. Where it's kind of like the 10, the burdensome kind of energy, like something about like it being a burden, or it was like causing a headache, or just making you really tired, or like draining, or whatever in some way. With the unity card coming out next, I feel, or like at the bottom, I feel like this is talking about oneness. It's also talking about like bringing two opposite energies together. Because I feel like there's something here. The first card, the overall energy of your reading, is It'll be the Retriever, which talks about something that was lost. And I feel like there's something that's coming back to you now, is what this is coming through, is like something that is coming back to you that was lost in some way. Because you have here the first two cards. So first of all, you have here the candle, which says you will be shown the way. And the funnel, period of frustration, lessons to be learned. I feel like this is sort of like you were shown the way through a period of frustration. I actually feel like this is sort of something that's coming to an end, right? The period of frustration. Because the first two cards here you have are the Karma card, which is justice, and the Entertainer, which is the Knight of Pentacles in this deck. This Knight of Pentacles, though, is really interesting because it's like, I always see this card as being like in a position where you can't move, or you can't necessarily, it's a very slow moving energy. There's not a lot of action here, and it's like finding things to entertain yourself while you're in this place. I feel like that's sort of the energy of frustration for you, Gemini. Because it's kind of looking to me here with the Karma. This card also talks about lessons learned, like learning some sort of lesson about something. And with the Entertainer, I was really just drawn to like this one orb here that's not like the others, where it's kind of like, I feel like there was something here about like something that was lost, right? It's kind of like you were... It's kind of looking to me like for instance, like using like a tarot deck that's incomplete, right? Like that kind of thing. That can be kind of frustrating, or like something obviously that's one example. It's kind of like something that was incomplete or that was lost. Like you're missing a piece of whatever it is that you're working on, is kind of how it's feeling. So there's a bit of frustration, especially if it's something like a needed tool, right? Like, so like a missing tool or something that you need in order to complete some sort of task. It's like that was missing. And so it's kind of like a period of frustration. I feel like, though, you actually learned a lot about the situation. I feel like actually it was kind of giving you sort of like an energy of like learning not to rely on certain things, especially if it's kind of like a tool that you're using. Like it's kind of like, for example, right? Like just like calculators, like a calculator in order to do math, right? To do like simple calculations, but you lost your calculator, so you have to do all the math by hand or like with your head, like mental math, that kind of thing. That could be frustrating, but at the same time, you're also gaining a skill of being able to do mental math very quickly, for example. So it's kind of like something like that, where it's like you lost your calculator, but now it's coming back to you. So it's like things start moving more quickly. It's like you don't have to like, whatever it is. It actually helped you develop a skill through that frustration of having lost something, if that makes sense, Gemini. But the next cards that are coming out here, so it's kind of, so the next card you have here is the Eight of Birds, which is the Eight of Swords in this deck. This card is, or like the Eight of Swords has come out in like 3 of the 4 readings that I've done here. And that's significant. It's like 3 out of the 4 something, I feel like is, I don't know, like 3/4 of something. Like 75% of something. I don't know. That those numbers feel significant to me for some reason. But anyways, so this card was looking to me like, you know, in Finding Nemo when Dory and Marvin are like or like getting a ride from the turtles. They're in sort of like that jet stream where it's like they're going somewhere, right? But it's kind of like they have no choice in where they're going. It's kind of like they have to follow the stream. So that might have been sort of like the period of frustration where it's like you were not in charge of where it was you were going. You were just following the flow of the energy, and that can be frustrating, especially if it's kind of like you encountered some sort of loss in that time period. And it could be like a loss of like not knowing where you're going. It could be like that kind of thing. And having to like surrender control to the flow of that. But what I'm seeing here, underneath the Eight of Birds, you have 9 of Birds, the Unknown, and the Ace of Birds. So this is that jet stream kind of energy, right? Like being sort of carried by that wind tunnel or the sea current, like that kind of metaphor of the unknown. This is a Judgment card. But because you have so many birds here, right? You have the 8, the 9, and the Ace of Birds. So first of all, Sagittarius energy was coming in very strongly for you, Gemini, which is your opposite. So, but I feel like the Sagittarius reading in this video might be helpful for you. It might have like a clue or some sort of truth or something that might help you, because it's what I'm seeing here with the 9 of Birds and the Ace of Birds. It's kind of like, because this is the Ace of Swords, where it's like if you were in a jet stream kind of energy where it's like you had no control about where you were going. It's kind of like I'm seeing this as being like an energy that pushes you out of it, right? Like it's kind of like in Finding Nemo, right? It's like they're going somewhere and they're kind of like getting off at a certain place. So it's like they get pushed out of the jet stream, if that makes sense. They're, I don't know. I'm just seeing kind of like, you know, when like pool balls, when you're playing pool, how when you Like you use one ball to hit another ball and push that ball in a different direction. That's what I'm seeing with this combination of cards for some reason. So it could be something like, if you've been feeling stuck, it's like somebody says something to you or whatever. There's some sort of clarity and it pushes you out of this state of feeling stuck. Could be something, especially with Sagittarius energy, right? Where it's like people just say things that could be sort of like a truth of some sort, but maybe sort of like disorienting because it's like now you're suddenly going in a different direction, if that makes sense. But anyways, it does feel like good news, right? It kind of feels like something here, especially where it's like something is being returned to you, could be your clarity, right? Like that kind of thing. Because the next card out you have here is the pineapple, which says reconciliation. Reconciliation and the victory card, victory in some endeavor. So you're finding, so reconciliation, right? Like bring something returning to you that you lost, or like you could be reconciling with others or a particular person or with your dream, whatever it is that you're working on, or the thing that was lost, right? The lost calculator or whatever it is. Victory, though, it is going to be successful. You have these two cards coming out together, the Three of Lotuses and the Page of Cups, the composer. So these cards both talk about harmony. So it's like it's so like freeing, and it feels like a lot of relief. So it could be with, because this is the Three of Cups, it could be with like a group. The composer card also talks to me about the right timing, like coming in at the right timing, sort of like divine timing kind of energy. So it could be that there was sort of like a divine timing kind of aspect where you were in sort of a period of quote unquote pause, of like not having the choice to move in a certain direction because you're in sort of like this jet stream. But now it's like something arrives, the lost thing, whatever it is, that knocks you out of the jet stream so that you're in this place, all of this harmony energy, right? It's like something coming back together. I feel like there's a lot of success here for you, Gemini, like whatever it is that you're working on or that you've been learning how to do, or that you're putting a lot of energy into, some sort of tricky situation that is now opening up in some way. And the next card's out here. So you have here the Cup. You should accept valid criticism. So especially with the Ace of Swords coming out next, or like coming out on the second row, there may have been some sort of like harsh truth that was needing to be integrated. It could have been very frustrating because there were lessons to be learned, that kind of thing. I'm just going to leave it like that, Gemini. I feel like you will know what that is for you if this reading is resonating with you. But it kind of just feels like having a cup of tea with your friends, like that kind of thing, where it's just like you can just be honest about what it is that you're feeling, or what it is that happened. You can just speak honestly, without judgment as well. Like there's no judgment in whatever is being said or that kind of thing. And then you have here the Ace of Trees, and this coming out next to the Unity card. I feel like this is talking about like something here about like, this is the thing that was lost. I feel like here with the Ace of Trees, like some sort of solid beginning, some sort of beginning in the physical, right? It's kind of like there's something from this sort of spiritual energy that's coming down into the physical, is how that's feeling to me. This card today, like it's almost like I could hear this card. It was like humming, like it was just feeling like a hum. Like it's almost like it has like this like you know, when the heavens like open up, that's what this card was feeling to me like, and like hearing it. Anyways, Gemini, it's really lovely. So the next card you have here is the Protector. This is the King of Wands. It's talking about like taking a deeper plunge into some sort of creative endeavor or like project or whatever, that all of your projects or like whatever it is you're working on or anything that you're investing your energy into has this sort of like protective force field around it that's gonna protect it. It's kind of like, because I feel like there was something that was lost in some way, and so it's like now that it's coming back to you, it's almost like it's the right time now, it's the right whatever situation, right timing, that kind of thing. It's almost like here, so, part of the lesson might have been something like maybe whatever it was that was lost, there was like needing to build up some sort of skill before the real thing happened, is kind of how it's coming through. So I feel like it is that. It is coming through with that. And with the Peacock and the Swan coming out next, this is the Empress and the High Priestess, which I love so much because it is talking about a very feminine, nurturing energy, especially with this sort of like the seed and all of this harmony kind of energies coming in. I feel like there's like a very nurturing, like being able to nurture whatever this new start is. Like you have all of the necessary whatever. You learned all the lessons, you worked on whatever, the environment, yourself, you learned some sort of karmic lesson perhaps about this, the Empress and the High Priestess, so your feminine energies. This was also talking about like merging, a very balanced merging of opposites, again with the unity card, and the High Priestess talks about clarity. And it was coming through the very specific message of like a safe change, where it's like there is a change coming, but it feels very safe. Again, here with the nest, right? A safe environment in which to grow. This is how this is feeling. So it's like perhaps before it wasn't, because it was like there was things in the environment perhaps that were difficult or like need to be cleared out or whatever. It's kind of like whatever it is that is coming back to you, it is now in like a safe environment in order to grow or to it's feeling like a very good omen, like a good safe beginning. Okay, I'm gonna leave it there, Gemini. It's really lovely because I feel like like the energy of your reading just feels like so much relief. Okay, I'm gonna leave it there. If this resonated with you, please like, subscribe, or leave a comment down below. It helps so much. Thank you for sharing your energy with me, and I hope you have a great day. Bye. Hi Virgo, welcome to your reading. So let's get started here with the bottom of the deck energy. So you have here the Ace of Voices, the Ace of Swords, and the Singer of Connection, and the Dolphin. Financial gain, usually coming from something you did in your past. So many pentacles in your reading today. There's, hold on, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 out of the 12 cards. So half of the cards that are out on your spread today are pentacles. So obviously financial gain of some sort, or that's your focus for Pisces season is kind of how it's coming through. It may be, especially with this Ace of Swords, here's something, because this card kind of looks like looking back on something, right? So you may, especially with the Dolphin, something from the past may be coming back around in some way, or that there's something here about like, so a significant connection, perhaps from your past, that may be providing some insight in whatever it is that you're working on this month. Okay, so anyway, that's the overall context. The overall energy of this card of your reading today, Virgo, is Lace the Moon's Daughter. So this one kind of looks to me like a mischievous energy, where it's kind of like encountering sort of like hiccups or like problems that need to be solved, that kind of thing. Or it's like situations that are uncomfortable. But for you, Virgo, you have here the Valley, which says deep personal strength and peace that assures success, right? So it's kind of like, I feel like that for this month for you, Virgo, there may be sort of like an energy here that's like testing your patience with what was coming through, or that there's just sort of like things here that are needing to be resolved that will require deep personal strength on your part, which is interesting. So the first card out here you have is the Four of Inspiration, the Four of Wands. So this is talking about like a very harmonious group, right? So it could be friend group or family, very stable as well. But I feel like there's something coming in, because the next card you have here is the Wedge, which says someone or something is trying to come between you and something that you want, right? So it's like how I'm seeing this. The three cards that you have here is the Four of Wands, the Queen of Cups, and the Three of Materials. So I'm seeing this as being sort of like, I actually feel like this Queen of Cups is somebody within your group or environment in some way. And it's like there's like part of your group, perhaps, and it's kind of like, so somebody that you care about, but I feel like it's kind of like their energy is causing a disruption in some way. It could be that they're dealing with something emotional. Here with the Queen of Cups, it's kind of like their energy is coming in with cups, whereas your energy is sort of focused on the Pentacles, right? So it's the opposite. It kind of feels like whatever it is you're focused on is sort of like material or physical or resource-based or whatever. Like the Pentacles, the materials. And this one here is sort of in the water element. So it could be that they're going through something emotional. Or it's kind of like they're dealing with some sort of problem or something like that perhaps they're needing assistance on, or that they're like bringing things to you that perhaps feel a bit like stepping in a puddle, or like that kind of energy. Like it causes confusion or fog because this person is dealing with something, right? It's kind of looking to me though that it's like kind of your paths are woven together. Here with the Three of Materials, your path is woven together. I feel like there's something here though about like so the next card is the Pig, Beware of Greed. The Pig generally is very positive energy in my opinion, but it can go into greed if there's sort of like everything in moderation, right? So I feel like this energy's coming in because it's kind of like, because you've been so focused on sort of the Pentacles or the material, it's like there's somebody here with the Queen of Cups who's coming in as sort of like a balancing energy, right? Like focusing on more of the emotions or the water element in order to balance perhaps you, so that it doesn't go into greed, quote unquote, or just like too much focus on the Pentacles, if that makes sense. This Queen of Cups might also be just sort of like the overall energy of Pisces season, because it is sort of like watery, and it is also your opposite sign as well. So it's kind of like you may be focused on sort of like a lot of Pentacles, but this season may be giving you a lot of emotional energy to work with, so that it doesn't tip over into like an over expression of material focus, if that makes sense. But the good news is here for you though, Virgo. It says the Flag. Do not be tempted to lower your standards, because I feel like there's kind of like how this person may be causing problems for you in some way, the Queen of Cups. because they're kind of coming in as being sort of like the Eight of Swords, which is interesting because the next card out is the Star. So I'm seeing these as being sort of like balancing energies, right? The Star to me feels like this is your star power, Virgo. I love Virgo energy so much because it's always like, I feel like Virgos are very meticulous in how they approach things, right? Like they have very high standards or very like particular ways in which to do things. Like this has to be done this way. That kind of energy. That's sort of what I'm seeing for you, Virgo, where it's like you have a certain way of doing things, or like there's like whatever, your strength, your star power. It's but I feel like this one here, whoever this is, again, does not feel like it's intentional or anything like that. It kind of just feels like, let's say if this is work related, there's somebody that you work with who's just like is more in the emotional, watery sense, where it's kind of like that perhaps they don't have such like particular rules for doing things in a particular way. Like there's not that, it's more flowy, if that makes sense, the way that they do things. And so it's kind of, because the next card out here, you have the ink pot, right? Like problems to be resolved, where I'm seeing this as sort of like, especially if it was kind of coming through as like a group project, right? Like if you're working on a group project, it's kind of, if you're taking a leadership role, Virgo, it's like there may be somebody in your group who causes more problems maybe, or just like that kind of thing. Like it's like they spill things or they like cause a mess, and it's kind of like it's like you have to deal with that, right? It's like problems that you have to deal with or resolve in some way. And so how I'm seeing this is like it's actually coming in, this energy, as being sort of like presenting challenges to you or obstacles or whatever in order to help you to strengthen your vision, is actually how I'm seeing this. It's like they're giving you problems. I don't think it's intentional, Virgo. It's kind of just like they spill things, or they like could you even just be emotional. They bring up like problems in order for you to almost like make yourself more, like almost to like solidify your position more, is what this is feeling like. So it may present as challenge, Virgo, for you, but it's kind of like it's reminding you here that you have deep personal strength that will assure success, because the next cards that are coming out, you have here, I'm also seeing here, sorry, because this is the 8, right? This is the 8. It's kind of like whatever problem it is that they're giving you almost puts you in like a, like you can't move, like a trapped kind of not a trapped energy. It causes like resistance in some way, whatever problem it is that they're bringing. But it's like, this is the 8, and then it becomes the Star, which is 17. So it's almost like dismantling the problem, right? Actually strengthens your vision, or strengthens your power, or your ability to see clearly, or like your wish, or whatever, or your goal, if we want to phrase it like that. But the next cards that you have coming out here, you have here the 7 of Materials, the 8 of Materials, the Knight of Materials, and the 9 of Materials. So you have 7, 8, 9 of Pentacles with the Knight of Materials in sort of the middle here. So I'm actually kind of seeing this, Virgo, as being like, so first of all, so much progression in whatever it is that you're working on, right? Like it's like you're focused on material stuff. Working towards some sort of goal, or whatever this represents to you, just in general, your abundance. And I feel like here, there's actually sort of this point where I feel like whoever this Queen of Materials is, or Queen of Cups, I should say, is actually kind of like, going to be sort of in the Knight of Materials, where it's like they're going to... So perhaps it's kind of like here with the Eight of Swords, they may also be in this energy of like being up in their head a lot or whatever. And it's kind of like, I feel like in watching what you do, Virgo, with your star power, it's like they're watching what you do, or they're using you as an example to focus on their goals perhaps, or something like that. It's like they're watching what you do with all of this material energy. They sort of come out as being the Knight of Materials is how I'm seeing this. Like following your path in some way. I feel like that it is kind of coming through as following your path, or like you're leading by example in some way. What's interesting though here is that you have here the Two of Cups coming out next. So I actually feel like this is kind of like you and this person are a Two of Cups relationship, right? Because you do have the Singer of Connection as the overall as the underlying energy, which is interesting. So it could be something like you and this person are working together, but it's kind of like they have a different focus, right? They're coming in as a balancing energy where it's like you're focused on materials or whatever, right? All of this sort of pentacle-like energy. And they're focused on the emotional or the watery energy where it's like they're... So it could be that they're bringing up problems for you to solve, but it's kind of like the problems that they're bringing up is something that's going to strengthen your work as well, if that makes sense. I feel like there may just be sort of like resistance about what it is that they're saying. Like it could just be like, I feel like it's not intentional. It feels like they're kind of just, they're using their intuition to help you solidify purpose, but it doesn't feel like that in the beginning is how it's coming through here. Anyways, you're ending here with the Queen of Materials and the Lovers, right? So I feel like this is you are the Queen of Materials, Virgo. Absolutely. This is your energy, right? This is your strength. But it feels like there's somebody here who is a Two of Cups to you, who's perhaps just like reminding you of the water, right? To help balance that, because it's like not wanting you to be in an overly material focus. It's like bringing in water or emotions or whatever. It could just be something like giving you like a break, perhaps, like more emotional energy, like giving you a break between your work or something like that, because you're also ending here with the Lovers card, which I love so much, because this card to me always represents sort of like coming together, meeting at a certain point in order to go on the next part of the journey together. So that it's kind of like a carpool parking lot is how I see this card. So it's like you and this other person are meeting together in order to continue on the journey as like a group or pairing, right? So Queen of Materials and Queen of Cups, right? It is kind of representing sort of like a balance to your energy. They are balancing your energy, but it kind of feels like there may be sort of like problems to be resolved, or like things to clean up, or just issues to sort of sort out is how this is coming through. Again, this may also be from your past as well. This may be from your past, and maybe you're getting like a new insight about it. Anyways, Virgo, I'm going to leave it there. If this resonated with you, please like, subscribe, or leave a comment down below. It helps so much. Thank you for sharing your energy with me, and I hope you have a great day. Bye. Hi, Sagittarius. Let's get started with your reading. So at the bottom of the deck, the overall context for your reading, you have here the Mule. Someone is extremely stubborn and unwilling to change. And Mick the Myomancer, which talks about sort of like seeing clues about bigger picture things in sort of like the mice, right? The way that the mice move, like in smaller picture sort of energies, right? The micro and the macro being reflections of one another. So that's sort of like the overall context. And you have here the 9 of Swords at the bottom of the deck. So I feel like there's something here about like something that is causing anxiety in some way. I feel like there's something here about you may be seeing signs of it. Anyways, we'll get into like the actual reading part. So for the overall energy, you got two of these cards. You have Luathus the Wild and Penelope Dreamweaver. So Sagittarius, it's time to go is what was coming through here. There's something that you're needing to do. I feel like there's some sort of inspiration, or you might be getting like visions or dreams about some sort of course of action. It's coming through here with the fox and the money path, which says shrewdness and resourcefulness, especially in business, and a path with money is waiting for you to find it. So it's kind of like, so it could be in terms of like finances or your business or resources in some way, right? There's some sort of like, that's sort of like the focus of your reading. And having to take action on something, like it's time to go. I feel like you've gotten some sort of inspiration to move towards something here. But so the Luathus card talks about like having a lot of energy. It can also, though, in sort of like because it is the fire element, can talk about sort of like moving too quickly or feeling impulsive or doing things that are sort of, it could be potentially destructive. But because it's coming out with the Dreamweaver, it's kind of adding more like a battery pack, like an energy source to some sort of inspiring new path that you're on here. A money path that's waiting for you to find it. However, Sagittarius here, because there's, with the 9 of Swords at the bottom of the deck, and then the first 3 cards in your spread today are all swords. So there's a lot of anxiety about this path. I feel like you're receiving a lot of inspiration or an idea. It could be one idea that's like really driving you. It's like time to take action, time to go towards this. But Page of Swords. So Page of Swords to me is kind of like this energy of like research gathering, right? Like not quite taking action, like trying to like get more information about something. So it could be something like that. So perhaps you are being very cautious about this sort of new direction because you don't want to move impulsively is what's coming through here. Being very like shrewd, like in terms of your actions is kind of how it's coming through. Like shrewdness sort of, to me, I don't know the full definition of it, but it kind of means to me like being very mindful, like combing through everything with a lot of detail. So maybe that's sort of what you're doing here. But there's these two energies here of the 2 of Swords and the 8 of Swords where you may be overthinking it a bit, Sagittarius, is what that's feeling like. Like there's some sort of action or like a plan maybe that you have that you're like combing through all the details, especially here with the mice, right? Like combing through all the details of it. But that may actually be putting you in sort of a 2 of Swords, 8 of Swords energy, which is kind of like overthinking or like being in sort of like a stalemate, like not being able to make a decision or not being able to make a choice or not being able to take an action that is needing to be taken. I feel like there may be here something about, so you have here the wreath, which says sorrow over a loss, because I feel like maybe, especially with the Luathus the Wild, right? It kind of feels like they're, so it could be something from the past where it's like maybe in the past there was some sort of like risk that you took that perhaps resulted in a loss, especially if it's like financially. But it's kind of like there may be energies here about like being super cautious now to not make a similar mistake or not make not do something risky potentially. Where it's so it could be associated with that. I'm actually not seeing, well, there is though, that's kind of what's coming through here. Not that there is going to be a loss, but it feels kind of like, anyways, we'll get there. So we have here next the Hanged Man and April card. So April might be a significant month for you. Maybe for this Pisces season, it's like you're just going to be getting more inspiration or downloads or ideas or whatever phrase you want to put it. Something where it's like maybe Pisces season, you'll just be sort of like dreaming about it, right? Like getting more information about this plan or this idea or something like that, gathering information. It's just wanting to caution you about don't overthink it is kind of how it's feeling to me. And don't bring sort of past energies into this one as well, if that makes sense. But the Hanged Man, because this is also Pisces season, is talking about getting a new perspective on something, right? Like seeing it from a different angle. Because it's kind of feeling to me like there's something here about like seeing something from a different angle. Because I feel like there's... Anyways, there's something here about like whatever this path is that you're being called towards, there's something unexpected about it. Because the next card you have out here is the Dog Far Away. A distant friend is thinking of you. And you have here the Ace of Cups coming out next. Which I love so much. It was coming through as like an offering plate in church. Like when you receive like an offering, the offering plate goes by and you like put something in it. Whatever it is that you have. I don't know if that's relevant to you in some way. That's just sort of what I was seeing with this card. I feel like there may be a significant person in your life. They're coming through as being a Queen of Pentacles, who's perhaps giving you something like an offering, like a small token of some sort. It could even be sort of like a push in the right direction, or like encouragement, because it is coming through with the Ace of Cups. It feels kind of like this Queen of Pentacles. So somebody like a friend that you know, perhaps very earthy, giving you a push. It does feel like that, like encouragement maybe. It may be kind of sort of like a mixed blessing, or like a again, it's like it's wanting to counter the swords, because there's a lot of swords energy in your space today, Sagittarius. A lot of mind sort of like thinking things through. But it's like there's something very practical that this one's doing for you, perhaps, to get you out of your head a little bit, is how that's feeling. The Dog Far Away, which is interesting though, because I feel... So that's the thing. I feel like this Queen of Pentacles is someone close to you. I feel like what's unexpected about this path is that there's somebody at a distance to you. Whether or not you know them or not, it kind of feels like for some of you, you might not know this person yet, because what I'm seeing here next here in the World card, so there may be travel involved. I feel like there may be travel involved. I feel like you're also ending a cycle and starting something new. But what I'm seeing here is like an intersection point that I feel like whatever path you're moving towards, it's going to put you in the path of this King of Wands, whoever they are. But I feel like that's the unexpected part. It's kind of like, but I'm also seeing this as you as well, like having to take action to something. And so it might be that there's another person that you're going to be interacting with in this new space, like somebody significant. But it could also just be like you're taking action on this, because this is very much like the Luathas energy with the, like all of this sort of creative fire is what's coming through. So so much creativity for you, Sagittarius. It's kind of just like you have to like get out of your own head a little bit is what's coming through with that. What the next card here you have here is the Five of Pentacles, but you have climbing towards success, the ladder, because I feel like here with the Five of Pentacles, so I feel like this is referencing the wreath energy, right? So I feel like there has already been a loss of some sort. I'm not saying that this is going to happen. It feels like this is already sort of in your space, in your energy. With the Five of Pentacles, it's kind of like you're having to go... It's kind of coming through as being like... you're at the bottom of the ladder. You're at the bottom of the ladder, and so whatever direction it is that you're going, the only way that you can really go is up, right? That's sort of what the energy is coming through with. So I feel like that might be sort of like a new perspective here. What I'm seeing here with the Page of Swords, because this is like the first card that came out for you, and then you have here the Queen of Pentacles and the Page of Cups. So I'm seeing this as being sort of like, because the Page of Swords is on one knee and then the Page of Cups is standing upright, where I feel like there's a Queen of Pentacles person who may be sort of helping you get back on your feet, is kind of how it's kind of looking to me, right? Like giving you a upliftment, encouragement perhaps, but it may be sort of like a tough love kind of energy, like pushing you in the right direction, right? Like standing you up on your 2 feet is kind of how it's coming through. You may also be doing this for somebody else, Sagittarius, but it's kind of like that's sort of the energy that I'm seeing here, so that you can go towards something that will be successful, right? Climbing towards success. And then finally, so after the Page of Cups, you have here the Queen of Swords, which I'm seeing as you, right? Because you're going from, you have all of this swords energy. So I feel like there's something here about like you're making plans, or you've thought about it, or you're thinking it through. A lot of mental energy towards this new path, or whatever it is. And it's kind of like with this card, putting those plans into action and trusting yourself to be able to see those through. Because the thing about anxiety is that whenever you're feeling anxious about something, that's sort of like a feeling of like not trusting the process, or not trusting your own abilities, or feeling like there's something that you need to be prepared for when maybe like you already have all of the things that you need, right? It's kind of like there's something here about like maybe you're not trusting yourself with this energy, right? It's like overthinking something, or like putting so many like combing through all the details when maybe you don't need to be that focused on something. With the Queen of Swords, this card talks to me about like this is the Joan of Arc card, like having a divine purpose to go towards something, right? It doesn't have to be I've been struggling with the word divine lately. Anyways, we're not going to get into that in this reading, but I feel like here with the Penelope Dreamweaver, getting some sort of inspiration that feels divine in some way, like guided by spirit, or like given to you by spirit guides, or that kind of thing. It's kind of like trust yourself and trust your intuition as well. I feel like there's something here about like a balance between swords, a balance of swords. Like there's something here about like the swords, the air, the mental space is kind of like cluttered up with these two energies, right? That's sort of how it's feeling to me, Sagittarius. So I feel like, again, there's no rush. There's no rush, but I do feel like that whatever path you're going towards is actually calling you towards something that's from a distance that perhaps you haven't encountered yet, but it's like you're going to interact or intersect with this energy. Whatever this is, it's kind of like it's gonna cross your path. Alright, Sagittarius, I'm going to end it there. If that resonated with you, please like, subscribe, or leave a comment down below. It helps so much. Thank you for sharing your energy with me, and I hope you have a great day. Bye. Alright, Pisces, let's get started with your reading. So, for the overall energy of your reading is quite good, actually. So you have here the crib, which says birth or conception of a child or enterprise, and right underneath that was March, right? So that's your season. It is also like your birthday season as well. So it could be something about like some sort of birthday wish, or your birthday just might be significant in terms of creating something new, or like getting some sort of manifestation. And you also have here Solace and the Three of Wands. Again, the Three of Wands is the whole card that talks about manifesting dreams. And here with the Solace card, so this is a very masculine energy. I'm getting sort of like a clarity kind of energy with this. But this card also talks about like manifesting dreams, like bringing something from the spiritual down into the physical in some way. Like creating something, right? So it could be, or like it's wanting to come through as like bringing something down into the physical. So like the as above, so below kind of thing. That's sort of what's coming through here. But what's interesting here is that, so that's the overall context, which is really positive for you Pisces, right? So I feel like this season is going to be very positive for you, but we're starting off here with these two cards, the Cracked Cup, dissatisfaction with life, and the Wheel, which says indecisiveness, allowing your life to ramble aimlessly. And I pulled one fairy card just as an overall energy, and you had ecstasis in reverse, Pisces. So this ecstasis in reverse, so this card normally talks about like joyfulness and happiness and ecstasy and bliss and all of that wonderful emotion and energy and feeling. But because it's coming out in reverse for you, it feels like perhaps there, again, with all of this energy, right, the dissatisfaction, there's something here about like letting yourself feel that is kind of how it's coming through here, because I feel like there's letting yourself feel that energy, because it maybe there's like something here, because the first two cards out are the 10 of Wands and the 10 of Swords, which are the two of the more difficult 10 cards in tarot. So it's kind of feeling like there's so you're at the end of this cycle is what this is feeling like. That whatever hardship or difficulty or burden that you have been carrying, it feels like it is coming to an end. It's feeling like there's a fresh start kind of happening. Again, I don't like sometimes the wording of the card descriptions are a bit strong, because it's coming out like this here, the Wheel with the 10 of Swords, right? And this 10 of Swords to me often talks about like having other people's expectations on you, or like having a lot of, again, burden here. Like, so it could be responsibility or expectation of some sort. And it's kind of like, I feel like whatever position you're in at the moment feels kind of like there is not a lot of movement, because it's kind of like I'm seeing you as being the center of this wheel, right? And kind of like these are the spokes of the wheel. So it's like you have, quote unquote, no other choice but to continue on the path that you've been going because of the position that you're in whatever way that is. I feel like here, though, there's all this energy, especially with the Ten of Wands, about sort of like, there's a lot of energy here about like surface level or sort of like appearances, right? Like appearances in some way. Because it, again, with sort of like the ecstasis in reverse, it's kind of coming through as being sort of like there's something that's dissatisfying about a certain situation for you, but that maybe you're like what you're saying to people is that you're fine, or that everything's fine, everything's good, like that kind of energy, when like maybe there is something unsatisfying or dissatisfying that you're being asked to feel or to acknowledge within yourself, or like to like just put down the burden, right? Because it's kind of feeling like there's like, especially with the needles, it kind of feels like expectations of some sort, like other people's expectations, or like you have to be like this, Pisces, or you have to do something this way, or something like that. But the good news is, though, Pisces, like there's this sudden shift happening here with the next cards out. You have the harp, which says great happiness, which is so lovely to see. But the interesting about this card is that the harp is actually like upside down on this card. Like it's the way that it's drawn is upside down. So whenever I see this card, this talks to me about like something flipping from like sadness, hardship, difficulty, stress, burden into great happiness, which is such good news. And you also have here the Fool, right? So it's kind of looking to me like, I feel like perhaps part of this flip or this change might be in terms of just like acknowledging where there is dissatisfaction in your life, if there is any, and just let yourself feel it here with the ecstasis, right? Like the only way out is through, is kind of what's coming through here, especially with the cracked cup, right? Because it's like there may just be sort of like an energy here of like it may be sort of like small things that are piling onto one another, right? It doesn't feel like one big sort of event. It feels like many small things, like many small nuisances. That kind of energy is what's coming through. And so it's kind of like part of releasing all that is like perhaps to start fresh, or to like release or feel or acknowledge some sort of like letting something that has to do with like appearances or how other people would see you, Pisces, especially with this card, because it's like this sort of like very ornate hairstyle here, but I'm drawn to the sun here in the background. It's like, can you turn your focus towards something else? Because there's something here about like getting a fresh start on something, right? Because it's kind of, especially with this Fool here, because the way that she's turned is sort of the focus here is on this sort of this path, this energy, whatever's under the surface. It's kind of like though there's something else at the other end that will get you to turn your focus so that you can have a fresh start over there, whatever that over there represents, that would take you out of this energy. I'm seeing here also, okay, so the next couple of cards you have here is the Bird Perched, which says waiting for news, package, or letter. And then the Vulture, which says depression, anxiety, worry that someone is against you, right? And both of these are birds perched. So it's like maybe you're waiting on some sort of news or some arrival of something, information, but there's kind of like a worry about like, there may just be a worry about like it being against you in some way, right? Like worry that there's something that's going to turn out badly. It just feels kind of like anxiety, right? So there may be anxiety about news that is arriving. It's kind of like you're waiting on news. With the Four of Pentacles here as well, right? It's kind of, so maybe there's, this card to me always talks about sort of like keeping up appearances, like keeping everything locked down is kind of how it's coming through. Especially with the Four of Pentacles, because that talks about holding on to something. So you may be like holding on to anxiety about this, like maybe you're anticipating bad news is kind of how that's feeling, which I feel like that's perhaps a shift, or maybe like you're in a position where you can't move or you can't do anything until this news arrives. I feel like it's more so wanting to focus on, again, sort of like looking in a different direction. If there's something that's causing you stress that I feel like you don't have any control over, right? It's kind of just like you don't have any control over the outcome or like the arrival of this news, right? It's kind of like this is outside of your control. So it's like there may be like a focus on trying to control something that's outside of your control, and it's like that's something that you need to let go. It's like it's taking up too much mind space, if that makes sense. Worrying about what the outcome would be is taking up too much mind space, Pisces. It's like focus on something else. Stop worrying about what other people are thinking about this or would see about this or whatever. There's something here about like appearances not mattering here, because it's kind of like the next couple of cards to come out. Well, like first I wanted to ask like what is causing the shift between the Ten of Swords and the Fool, right? Because it's like the ending of something with the 10 into the Fool, which is a fresh new beginning, and you have here the Lovers card. And something that I noticed about this card was sort of like the first time I've noticed this is that her hair is actually a bird's wing, which I've never noticed before. And again, going from this state, which is kind of like all of this sort of like really done up or like really aesthetically pleasing sort of appearance. There's something here about like being a bit more in a state that's more natural or comfortable to you is kind of how that's coming through. And you also have here something about like, there's something about like being forward facing, right? Like this sort of like on display energy, which I feel like is actually stressful to you in some way and then shifting into sort of like having your back turned, right? It's like here with the 10 of Cups. So you have 3 10s in this reading today for you Pisces, where it's kind of like you've reached some sort of completion point, right? This is coming through as being sort of like you've reached the end of something. I feel like whatever this news is might be sort of like a 10 of Cups energy, because it's kind of like there's like a feeling of somebody or something being against you, or whatever the news is will be like bad news. But I feel like it's going to be more of a 10 of Cups energy. It's kind of just like there's something here about like there's something here about, because you have here the moon coming out underneath that, again with sort of like the back turned, right? It's kind of like wanting to shift your focus to something else, whatever this 10 of Cups energy is. And with the moon here, it's talking about emotions, and also desire. Like, what is it that you actually want from this situation? Because I feel like there is something very dissatisfying about it, whatever it is. And so it's like there may be this sort of like pause or like waiting energy of like asking, what is it that you actually want from this situation? And like, is that what you're actually getting? It's like there's something here about the appearances that maybe there was too much focus on this energy of like other people's expectations of you rather than what it is that you actually desire. Because here with the next card after the 10 of Cups is this King of Cups, and it came out underneath this 3 of Wands about manifesting something, right? Like waiting for your manifestations. And the back is really important for some reason. Like, so maybe you're turning your back on something, or on, perhaps like maybe you are receiving some sort of manifestation that you wanted for this reason here with the appearances, right? But it's kind of like perhaps that manifestation is causing you stress or burden in some way. So it's almost like there's a flip into happiness when you let go of whatever this represents to you into something that's more natural, especially with the hair, right? And it's kind of talking about here with this sort of octopus energy of like a true desire or something that's like really emotionally resonant with you in some way. Like it is just talking about like something that you really, really care about, or something that you really desire, or something that is perhaps lacking, right? Like some area of your life that is feeling dissatisfaction. And perhaps moving towards that here with the King of Cups. Because you also have here the Emperor, right? So this could be sort of like a trusted masculine energy. There's also here this energy of like balancing, like structure, because I feel like there is some sort of structure here that you're in. It's not necessarily a bad thing, but I feel like there's some sort of structure that you're in, or some sort of like rules or schedules or whatever it is, like structure that is perhaps feeling a bit constraining, but you have to obey these structural bounds in order to keep up appearances. That's sort of how it's coming through here, where this Emperor is sort of more of a balanced energy in terms of like there is a wildness about this, but also a respect for structure. So it's kind of like maybe there's an energy where there's too much structure, or that the structure is based upon almost like arbitrary or superficial or ridiculous expectations is kind of how it's coming through here, where this one's a bit more natural and perhaps more true to what you want from this situation, whatever this situation represents. It was coming through as a trusted masculine energy. So it's kind of like there may be somebody that you trust in terms of being able to give guidance or to provide structure or that kind of thing. But there may also be some sort of like action that you're needing to take in this as well. I feel like the main focus for you this season, though, Pisces, is that there's something here about, like, metaphorically turning your back on something that you thought was perhaps, like, a manifestation that you wanted. But it's like what it's showing me is that there's actually something, like, unsatisfying about part of it. It feels like it's like not or it's that it's too constraining in some way. Like, it's like having to wear all of this sort of like extravagant but constraining. Like, I'm just thinking of like a corset, right? Like not being able to breathe within some sort of constraining structure. Okay, Pisces, I'm gonna leave it there. I hope that resonated with you. I hope that was helpful. If it did, please leave a comment, like, or subscribe. It helps so much. Thank you for sharing your energy with me. Happy birthday, and I hope you have a great day. Bye.